Welcome, all you variants, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. We have a special review today. We're going over episode 3 of Loki. Are you mimicking me?
No.
So you're like a little kid from Daryl Dixon.
Right.
Well, Akram, what did you think of this third episode of Loki Season 2?
Well, it was pretty cool, not gonna lie. Some action with Miss Minutes, some cool things are going on with Miss Minutes that I'm glad they're actually doing a lot more of that character. I think she's a great mascot for the MCU as well. As for the rest of the episode, there was stuff taking place like in the 1800s or something, which is really cool. I think I love how the show is really authentic when they go to different time periods. It's really interesting, especially like the outfits and stuff. I gotta commend them for that.
I love when they change like the intro music in the beginning.
Me too.
Yeah,
It's so nice.
That was really cool.
Yeah. That's really cool. Jonathan Majors, pretty cool. But let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. So yeah, we see Kang's variant in this episode, Victor Timely. I think that's such a coincidence.
Yeah.
Did he come up with that name, or is like that he was just born like his last name was Timely?
It's like Johnny Sins.
Right? It's like convenient.
Yeah.
But yeah, we finally see Renslayer in this episode, what she's been up to, and Miss Minutes. Miss Minutes actually feel like had a bigger role in this episode. She actually scares me more than any horror movie I've watched this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess she has like ulterior motives too, which is actually interesting for a character that's supposed to be like a cartoon AI. I think it's funny that they kind of like make her like a main villain for some reason.
Right.
Mobius and Loki are still trying to fix the timeline. Sylvie makes a few appearances in this episode. I feel like she's kind of stupid sometimes. I don't know what her deal is.
A little bit annoying.
Yeah. But what else did you think of this episode?
I'm not a big fan of Sylvie's character so far. I don't know. It's just like she keeps stopping the action, or like stopping things from continuing on smoothly, or at least her idea of it, which is really annoying to me. As for the rest of the episode, like the whole thing with Ravonna, that revelation at the end was pretty interesting, but I don't know what else they could do with that. Unless they just, well, she's basically in a way transported into the end of time, right? And what if like they left her there to like starve to death or something? Or like
I think that's what it was actually. No, I think that's actually what her punishment was.
Exactly.
She had like all these apples there.
Right. Well, I want you to tell everybody your idea. It was a really interesting idea of who Miss Ravonna maybe is.
This feels a little, I don't know, out of place, but with Loki, I feel like anything's a possibility, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I think it kind of matches in a way like Sylvie and Loki's kind of relationship in a way. So I was thinking in my head at the end of the episode, because Miss Minutes says that she knows something about Renslayer and she's going to be angry about it. And I kept thinking to myself, well, she's not that much of an important character in the show if you really think about it. So I was thinking, what if she's actually maybe like a variant of Kang that we don't know about or something? Because it makes sense. Like Loki had a female variant. Why not Kang, right?
Mic drop. Mic drop. No, like seriously, that's such a great idea you have, man, and I feel if they don't do it, it's gonna be such an L.
Comment.
On the comments.
I'm telling you guys, we write shit for Marvel. They're like listening. This is the only reason this podcast is still alive, because they're running out of ideas.
Honestly, for real, man. And you know what makes it even better is that she was a teacher when they showed like her at a different time. I was like, wow, yeah.
And we never saw her childhood either, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like we never seen anything like about her origin story. We saw a little bit of Mobius, but we never saw anything about Renslayer. So I was like, maybe there's something darker to her past. Like, because why else would she be like the leader of the TVA too? Maybe like Kang installed her, or like maybe Kang took one of his variants and like kind of like brainwashed her or something. I don't know. That could be an interesting theory. I could be wrong, but I just think it's something worth considering.
Yeah, and from the audio, it kind of seemed like something like she may be a love. She was in the comics, but she's maybe a love interest through the audio that we've heard. There's something interesting about how Kang was addressing her and talking about her. So we could have a similar situation, and maybe Loki, Sylvie Kang and Ravonna could go on a double date or something, which would be pretty cool. Like
they'll all go to
like
McDonald's.
a special. yeah.
But it has to be like when cool. She's on her break or some shit.
Right, that's stupid. She's so stupid, I swear. She's like doing everything for that check. I'm like, girl. I mean, yeah, that's a great idea. I don't know, but what did you think of Victor Timely?
I think it's interesting. The great thing about variants is that you can play different sides of characters that we've kind of already established. And we've seen Kang twice in the MCU, and both times he's been like this maniacal dictator. So I think this time it was actually interesting seeing him like very awkward and like very like vulnerable. I don't know. Especially he like almost like innocent in a way, like because he didn't even want to be Kang at first. It was Renslayer that gave him the TVA book, right? So imagine like if she never gave him that book, he'd probably just be like an ordinary person. But to see like him kind of like become like almost like this Thomas Edison character, and I don't know, maybe he will end up good. I don't know. Because even Sylvie kind of like had a change of heart too at the end, where like she's okay, well maybe he's not the Kang that I know, but he's still kind of dangerous in a way. Like you kind of have to treat every variant as dangerous in a way, kind of like Loki. But I can't see him being like a major threat in a way, because he's still kind of, even like the time period he's in kind of like limits him like what he can do.
Sure.
So I don't know. What do you think? I
think he'll be a great help. I think so. I think he's gonna be one of those characters maybe will blast around. I think he'll be a good, like he'll be beneficial to the whole team. Now, as for later on, how will that mix in? I don't know. It's kind of cool that we did get that intro of this Kang from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Even if it ended in a shit way, because the original ending, apparently, there's some news that apparently it ended with Kang actually winning. So I'm glad that they're actually using this character at the end credits, and I feel like, yeah, he can be beneficial. It's actually beneficial to have a Kang fighting a Kang war, right? So it makes sense. As for what is the whole thing though with Miss Minutes, like why that Kang? Why drop the book there? I don't really know. She could have went in other timelines and stuff like that. So I don't really know what's her deal, unless she wants to corrupt this Kang somehow. Since he is kind of timid and kind of not exposed to modern technology, of course. So maybe he's like a good way to get this Kang to run things for the TVA a little bit later on to take over.
Unless it's like a selfish thing, because like at this point, because she wanted a body too, so like maybe at this point he still hasn't really thought about Miss Minutes as a concept, like AI. So maybe it's like it's like a Terminator thing, like she could go back and like upgrade herself or something. Instead of just being like this artificial intelligence, like to just play chess with or something. Maybe she actually becomes like, I don't know, like the Creator, like those robot things.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I wonder if in the future they'll try to change her into some character that we already know, some pre-existing character from the Marvel comics, instead of Miss
like
Minutes,
Vision,
like
something.
Yeah, well, I would have thought it would have been, what's her name? I don't think it'll be possible, but Jocasta, I think her name is. That's like, but that's Ultron's wife or something,
Nu.
so that'll be weird. Jocasta Nu, right? Yeah, I mean, all in all, pretty good episode. Not gonna lie. What would you rate this episode?
I'll probably, it's funny. This was like almost an hour episode. I think it was pretty good. I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10. The action still kind of feels lackluster. I'm not gonna lie. The dialogue's pretty good. The story's pretty interesting so far, but I feel like when it gets to the action scenes, that where it kind of like drops the ball for me. And I keep thinking to myself, where did the other Loki variants go? Like the kid Loki. Well, wait, didn't they get eaten by the cloud thing?
I believe.
Or was it just the one Loki?
Yeah, the classic Loki sacrificed himself. As for the those Lokis, I think they dipped, but I still don't know what's happened. Maybe they're starved to death now, or maybe they're hanging somewhere. But they're like this. Yeah, there was like a civil war there. Yeah, the rest of the timeline too. Like, I would like to see other Lokis, but I doubt they're gonna. Maybe they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to see other locations too. Maybe like in different parts of the MCU too. I mean, it is interesting. Like with this show, you can play a lot with like time periods, which I think is cool. And you can like jump back and forth between like the TVA and the different time periods, but maybe somehow tie back to the bigger MCU. But yeah, that is our review, guys.
I give it a 8 out of 10. Okay.
Well, nobody cares what you think.
Yeah.
Maybe
I see
none
that
the wiser.
Shit.
But guys, let us know what you thought of this episode and what you think we'll probably see for the rest of the series. But make sure to like this video if you stayed till the end. Sub to the channel if you enjoy our content. We appreciate you guys as always. But until then, thanks for having lunch with us.